This program is brought to you by Taom Billiards.
Too fast, too fly, too funny, too gas, too high, yeah, we on it. We go wherever the crew going. I'm ready, so tell me who want it.
Evening, welcome back to Live Pool on your screens here on Free Sports. We return with the Super Series after a 2-week hiatus. We've got a fantastic game for you this evening, as well as Gav Robinson takes on Alex O'Donoghue in arguably the tightest of all of our matches so far on paper. We've had a fantastic tournament so far. Before we get into tonight's action, let's take a look at what already has gone down as this tournament really starts to hot up. How does he fancy it? Oh, stunning. Stunning shot from John McAllister. This is it then for John McAllister. We've had 5 fantastic sets here. They've taken us almost down to the wire in this first match of the Super Series. But in the end, John McAllister gets himself through. And there we have it. It's a golden break for Gareth Hibbert. He's been trying that. You can't say he's not been practicing it. You can notice the way that he's breaking, gets this black ball on the move. And would you know it, it gets kicked into the middle pocket.
Absolutely fantastic. Gareth has been, both players were talking about it this afternoon. We were talking about cut back and develop shot. Oh, brilliant. No touches from Gareth. Just needs to hold himself together.
Shame really that Ben Rowland is about to go out with a bit of a whimper. Mark Farnsworth takes the match. Well, welcome to our isolation inspiration station here on Free Sports. The Super Series pool is back. Myself, Stephen Jameson, alongside Simon Webb, as ever, socially distanced, of course, due to the nature of times here in the UK. But we're so delighted you could join us for another night of the Super Series. Simon, it's been a competition, as we've just had a bit of a track back there through the matches, that's really delivered some amazing games for us so far.
So far, it's been absolutely brilliant. We saw on the opening 2 nights, 2 world champions, John McAllister and Gareth Hibbert. They were pushed all the way, and they sort of showed their class in the sort of climax of the match. And then a brilliant performance from Aaron Davis. He really, match play was absolutely fantastic. And then the final match of the set, after day 1, match number 4, was a masterclass from Mark Farnsworth, really proving why he's one of the best players in the world.
Yeah, some fantastic stuff already, and plenty more to come as well. We're live tonight and the next 2 nights as well, as we complete round number 1 and sign a match tonight, which I've mentioned at the top of the show, probably the closest in terms of what both players are expected to achieve in individual ability here. This is a tough one to call between Alex O'Donoghue and Gav Robinson.
Normally, I can find a way as a pundit to give a player an edge, whether it's current form or what they've achieved in the game. But I looked at this match as soon as the draw came out, and I looked at it and I was like, I cannot pick a winner from this match. I am as 50-50 on this match as I've ever been commentating on a match. So hopefully it delivers and it lives up to be a cracker.
Well, you're giving it the big hype. Simon caught up with our two players earlier.
Alex, great to have you here at the Super Series. Before we get on to tonight's match, I just want to ask you how you sort of got into the sport.
Oh, basically just growing up with a mum and dad in the pub, in the Sioux clubs from when I was younger. And my dad was mad keen on pool, so just spent all my youth in a pub, basically. Yeah.
Gav, great to have you here at the Super Series. Now, I know you've not been playing pool that many years, but how did you get into Q Sports, and then how did you get into pool?
My dad had a snooker table in the house when I was a kid. Obviously, I used to put a lot of hours in with my nana. She's no longer with us. After that, I went out the way for 10 years, like I never had hold of a cue. And then my dad bought a local pub in Camden called the Miners Arms, and it just went from there, really. I started playing on a Wednesday night. I met Chris Boren. Obviously, he was a very good player at the time. Started practicing with him, and then he stopped playing, so I started practicing with Mark, and it just went from there, really, to be honest with you.
When you were younger, you spent quite a bit of time taking snooker seriously. Was it snooker years ago, and now you've dedicated to pool?
I think it was pool first from when I was about sort of 10 onwards, till about 15, 16. Then snooker took over, had a go at getting on the tour. Just wasn't good enough, basically. Back into pool, yeah.
You've gone from strength to strength in the time that you have been playing. Do you put a lot of that down with the fact that you practice with Chris and then lately with Mark Farnsworth?
Well, if you want to beat the best, mate, you've got to practice with the best, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Simple as that.
How do you think your pool career's gone so far? You've had some good results, a couple of quarterfinals at World Championships. Where do you feel you fit at the moment?
I've had a few good results, but at the end of the day, not really done as well as I've wanted to do. But at the same time, I work a full-time job, so I haven't got the time to put a lot of the hours in. I'm quite happy with where I am, to be honest.
You say you work a full-time job. We've been in lockdown. Have you been able to practice at all?
Not at all. I've had a few sessions around Charlie Beggy's house when I can keep him away from shaving his eyebrows on the screen for tenors, but 2 or 3 sessions in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Other than that, obviously the 147 club shut in Swindon, which is not ideal for everyone at the moment.
How's lockdown been for you?
Well, I left my cue in the box for 9 weeks because obviously I played a lot of money games last year and I seemed to burn myself out a little bit, so I thought it was just a perfect opportunity to get away from it for a bit. So literally I didn't hit a ball for 10 weeks. I've been back on it a little bit these last couple of weeks, but not massive.
How has lockdown been for you?
Yeah, to be honest, it hasn't affected me a lot other than the kids being obviously the kids are at home, which is a nightmare. But my company stayed open, so yeah.
Tonight's your first go in a shootout event. Have you been watching it, and how do you think you're going to go with the short shot clock?
I'm a bit worried about 15 seconds, if I'm being honest with you. I have watched it. 30 seconds seems like it's a hell of a long time, but when you're in trouble with 15 seconds to go, it's going to be interesting. Could be a few slaps coming. And
do you enjoy set play?
Massively. I've always done better at set play. You feel you can lose a set 5-0. You 1-0 down.
Your first taste of shootout pool tonight. On paper, it's probably a format that we would say suits you, but how excited to get going, and how are you looking forward to the 15 seconds of shot?
Well, we'll just see what happens when it comes, mate.
And your opponent tonight, Gav, you played him many times?
We played twice. I think he beat me the first time. I beat him the second. Always nice to play Gav. The only time he's quiet is when you're playing him on the table.
Wish you the best of luck tonight.
Cheers, buddy.
And thoughts on your opponent tonight?
No, Alex is obviously a very good player. I think we've met at a couple of head-to-heads. I think we've both beat each other massively in the past, and I think we've had a couple where they've just been nicked as well, so I'm looking forward to him, mate.
Do you set yourself goals in the sport? Have you got any goals in pool?
Yeah, you've got to get better.
Just to get better?
Yeah.
Wish you all the best tonight.
Thank you very much.
Well, we'll see just how much better Gav Robinson plans to get tonight. This competition is hotting up, and it's back next. Welcome back to the Super Series pool here on Free Sports. This is your offering on this Monday evening. Gavin Robinson taking on Alex O'Donoghue in a last 16 match for a place in the quarterfinals. Just 3 more places on offer in the quarterfinals of the Super Series, and we are really looking forward to this one, Simon, between Alex and Gav. You mentioned it's going to be a really, really close one. What is it about these two that pits them so close together?
They're just both, they both achieved roughly the same amount in the game. They've both been deep on IPA events. They both play at a style that you think it's a really even matchup, and there's no current form to judge off. You can't say that one player's been playing better than the other because nobody's been playing, so we just don't know. Alex with the first opportunity, not the greatest chance, and he's not even going to take it on. Balls are congested in the bottom half of the table. No real future in taking a finish on. And that opened everything up on the yellows apart from the black. And in a way, Gavin was looking to be aggressive there and take on the balls and open things up. Missed the double, and he's been very fortunate to knock the black safe.
What we have seen across all of our matches so far, Simon, is there's a real difference between each one. It's not really been a match that's been particularly similar to another one. We've had quite tactical affairs, quite cagey affairs between 2 players who are really figuring their way back into the sport after a few months off, and we've seen genuine masterclasses. And I tell you what, that's a great shot from Alex there to clear out the bottom right of the table. Skill shot. Yeah, skill shot in operation from Alex O'Donoghue. Not familiar with black ball rules. This is a great example of it. You can pot any ball on the table as long as you pot the correct ball of your colour. Alex has taken reds and is able to clear the yellow out. That was a problem for him at the bottom right of the table there. There's the official ruling, and it's a rule that really helps make this game so exciting. It's difficult to play cagey.
There's always something you can do to open the game up, and that skill shot rule really allows you to do so. And in this instance, Alex has used it not to, more often than not you see it as a chance to open the frame up and go for a finish. Alex has used it as an opportunity to turn the tables. He was losing that tactical battle. The skill shot has turned it round, and he was able to nudge that black over the corner pocket, and he's actually gained marginal control in the frame, although it's still pretty even. But you're right about the matches. We've seen a couple of matches that have just been really wide open with both players making finish after finish. You know, Mark Farnsworth versus Ben Rowland really comes to mind. But we've seen some matches that have been a little bit more tactical in places, and sometimes it just comes down to the way the ball's split. You know, there are times, you know, Alex has hit a break here where he hasn't had much choice but to play the tactical way.
It's a strange frame, this to openers up, and it'll be a relief to both players that this is coming before the 15-second kicks in. We'll have a 15-second shot clock from the 15-minute point in this opening set. And I just wonder here if Gav Robinson feels like he can go for this. This might be the shot to open up the frame.
It's not quite come out as he wanted to. I don't think the yellow that he's nearest to goes past the other one to the top left corner, so he'd have to take on the plant, which is much higher tariff, although I still fancy him to make it, and he has. Now it's difficult because if he takes the yellow at the bottom of the table, it's hard to get on the one at the top, and if he plays the one at the top, it's very hard to get on the one at the bottom, so still plenty of work to do. Needs to get the white near the centre of the, oh, he's missed the pot.
You can see there the way the white ball was spinning all over the place. The amount of work he was having to put on that cue ball made it so difficult to get the potting angle as well. It was a really, really tough shot, that.
I always find it difficult when you know you're playing it to get good position on that yellow. He couldn't get good position. He was having to accept bad position and know that he was going to have a very tough pot on that yellow. I always find that trickier, that you're having to, the shot isn't going to win you the frame. You've got another big shot coming.
And also, he knew he couldn't play it with an awful lot of pace, so he's got to take the pace out of the white ball, which makes it even more difficult to play those sort of deeper positional shots, if you like.
I agree. Alex may have the perfect angle to screw back into the red on the side cushion, but it's difficult to move it far enough to be on it. He may well just drop this in and bank on making a double. It is going to be the double.
He knows the black's a gimme in the bottom corner. He's put it there for good reason, and he expected to be able to make it in this frame. He might not have when Gavin came to the table and started to pop a few balls, however. So this will pretty much guarantee the opening frame, and it is not to be. So it opens back up again.
We're so used to seeing players make those doubles look very, very simple. Almost look like an open pot sometimes. So just got into it a little bit too much, straight on the rudder. Hits the near jaw. It's going to cost him this opening frame.
Yeah, compared to the last time he had these two yellows to take on, they were in an altogether easier scenario. Gav Robinson will take the opening frame. And a good start for the man from the northeast. 1-0.
Cagey start for both players. Mistake from Gav going for the finish, but gets a second opportunity. He'll be happy to be on the board.
And speaking of the board, this is our tournament board. Gav Robinson and Alex O'Donoghue down the bottom there. They will play the winner of Mason Penny and Jordan Shepherd. They're coming up on Wednesday. Tomorrow night we have Simon Fitzsimmons against Sean Story. That's the top of the graphic as you look there. They will play Aaron Davies in the quarter-final. That game coming up tomorrow. That'll be a belter. And Jordan Shepherd, the king of the shootout on Freesports so far. He's in action on Wednesday evening as well. Loads of good action coming up for you on Freesports as Gav Robinson absolutely mullers that break. Got into that all right.
He's got into that very well. Watch the white. He's gone for the screw back. Wants the white to come straight down the middle of the table, and that really allows him to drive the cue through the ball. And he's been rewarded with a very good split, and he's made a ball. So great opportunity to go 2-0 in front. Just needs to get the white back into open play here. And he hasn't managed to do so. He needed to avoid that red.
How often do we see in a scenario like that when a player's got a good break and a good split that the first shot is almost always the most difficult one? He might still be able to make a plant here. That yellow over the top right is inviting. And that's a pretty good recovery shot from Gav Robinson. This is very much still on for him.
Very good recovery shot, and it's actually helped him. There was one yellow at the top of the table that was half blocked by the red, and that's now open or more open. He's just finished the wrong side of this yellow. Can't get up the table from this ball. We see this a lot with Gav. This is the way he plays. He has quite a loose cue ball. It's not to say he doesn't have good patterns, but he doesn't keep it as tight as someone as, say, Mark Farnsworth. But he's so capable of those recovery pots and recovery positional shots that he gets himself back in good position. Might look to cannon into the red here. He could avoid it, doesn't need to cannon into it. He has decided to avoid it. I don't know if he's come far enough. It's tight.
You just see the right-hand side of those two yellows. It's not ideal, but he's all right, recovered it really well. There's an intensity about Gav Robinson around the table. Looks up for this. And that is easily done for 2-zip. Super stuff from Gav Robinson. Wasn't the easiest cleanup in the end, but it looked relatively so. This is his recent tournament history. Seen a fair few of these on Freesports and some decent results there. A pretty consistent performer on the tour.
Yeah, he's the sort of player that he's capable of beating anyone in the world on his day. He's had a few deep runs. He's made a semi-final professional event, He's done well in patches. He doesn't have the consistency as, say, a top player, but a lot of that comes down to his seeding. Currently ranked 18, he's always going to be coming up against top players early in tournaments, and it's hard to sort of break through to that top 16 where you might get slightly easier seeding and make it easier to get deeper in a tournament.
You might have got away with that break a little bit there, Alex, because it looked to me like the white ball was spinning towards that middle pocket. He's made a ball, he's at the table, and 2 frames down, still loads of time left in this opening set, and that's a very cute little first shot to open up the table for him.
He'd be pleased with the pot, but he wanted that white to travel another 2 or 3 inches up the table. He's not on this red. Sorry, he's on yellows anyway, sorry. These yellows are perfect. Yellow does go past the black, you can see that from the overhead. May not be in the full pocket, but plenty. For the 3, he's going to need some decent position on.
Alex, a player I know you know really well, so what are his particular strengths?
He's actually got he's very good all-round game. He's very good tactically. He's got a very good patterns around the table. You know, he's a really good potter. He's a very, very good snooker player. Did try and make it on the snooker tour for a little while, so he's a very good cueist. Yeah, I spent some time certainly early in my playing days playing with Alex, and yeah, he is a very, very solid all-round player.
Keep that one nice enough. This black is a gimme. Alex O'Donoghue on the boards. These frames are starting to rack up now, which is what we like to see. First one took a little while, but 2 in no time at all. Alex O'Donoghue has been busy as ever on the tour, and it goes back to what we were saying at the top of the show, in that these 2 have very similar stories when it comes to their recent record.
Yeah, Alex has done well on the tour as well. He's made 2 World Championship quarterfinals. He did, when he first came onto the tour, similar sort of time as me, he burst through. He was going deep in a lot of tournaments, won an amateur event, very quickly turned professional. He then took some time away from the game, and this is his sort of return, if you like. This is his first season as a professional again. Last year was his first season returning. He had to return as an amateur, re-earned his professional status, and we haven't seen a lot from him this year because the tour has had to be put on hold, but I do expect to see some more deep runs from him this year.
I tell you what, Gav Robinson is creaming these breaks. He is hitting them with an awful lot of power, and he's getting some really, really good splits. Just has to figure out this pattern. It will be yellows, no doubt about that. As long as he can navigate his way to the bottom of the table, he should really be looking at a finish hit.
Yeah, he just has to negotiate the cluster of 3 and the black. You probably want to play a plant, but playing the plant from here, he might dislodge other yellows. Just he's awkward here. He's not on the plant. The yellow he's nearest to is blocking him from being able to play the one, as you see from the overhead, play the one onto the one over the pocket. So this is slightly tricky. He may now be looking to sort of swerve off the bottom cushion and pop the one off over the bottom cushion, but the white would go towards the black.
Just like that. I think he's come out okay.
Yeah, I think he's on this yellow now, and now this really is opened up. That was a lovely recovery shot.
He prefaced it quite beautifully in the last frame where Gav was at the table, saying that sometimes he can be a little bit blasé with cue ball control, but it does make for some exciting potting play when he's got the opportunity to exhibit himself, although that is the worst possible time to show some lax cue ball control, because now he is in all kinds of danger.
Every now and then you see a shot like that from Gav, and it does look careless because his style is so laid back and it's the way he plays, but always good pull comes from that sort of style as well.
He's gone close.
This is unbelievably
He wants
good.
it. He's got it. What a shot, Gav Robinson. Wowee. Well, the powers of recovery exhibited so far in every frame that he's won, and none finer than that. That is a hell of a shot. He almost had to blow it in.
That was incredible. He knew as soon as he hit it, he had the line. He wasn't sure about the pace, but to pick the line out from that position, when you're close to the ball, object ball, it's hard to pick the line. But then to pick the line to pop the ball in the middle pocket, when we've seen already in this tournament that the middle pockets play a lot tighter than the corners, that really is an incredible shot from Gav, and great recovery.
That's one of the shots of the tournament so far, make no mistake about that, ladies and gents.
And it's one of the first shots today where that's going to hurt Alex. That's the sort of, you're sat there as an opponent, you've seen your opponent come up, you know, he's out of position on the black, you're thinking, right, here's my opportunity, I'm going to step in, I'm going to have a really routine clearance for 2-2, and then, you know, it's my break, and it goes against him, and all of a sudden, you know, Alex is 3-1 down, and Gav's at the table.
Yeah, he's got some issues to navigate here, though, as Gav Robinson. The noise you heard a moment ago, confirmed by our referee, is the 15-second shot clock is now in operation. 15 seconds a shot is a big, big difference.
I would say 15 seconds a shot for Gav. He almost plays at that sort of pace anyway. He's a very, very quick player. We've seen with Jordan Shepherd, who's also a very quick player, he sort of took to the shootout style ball so quickly because of it. I think this might suit Gav as well.
It's a loose pot from Gav Robinson there up to the top of the table. This is by no means a guaranteed clearance for Alex. This is tough. This is the big shot.
He's been a bit unlucky there. He's not on anything. If the white's half an inch further down the table, he's on a couple of balls. From there, it's just going to be a safety shot, although he's gained some control in the frame. I talked about Alex's all-round game. There are some players you see on the tour, and they are just all-out attack, and they're just trying to clear up, and they'll force the issue. And you know, on the good days, they'll make it look amazing. Alex is the sort of player that he can play. He's not worried about having to clear up in one visit all the time. If he needs to take 2 visits, play the safety shot, he'll do that. He's got a really balanced all-round game. Although he won't be happy with the safety shot he played. He didn't want to let Gav see that ball at the top of the table. That's allowed him to get in, and that's a great shot to open things up. I think he's still on this red to the right corner, so there's a finish on for him.
Yeah, he got an element of luck there to Gav Robinson, but ultimately when you come into as many balls at pace, he's going to come into play. Made for this format so far, doesn't he? Set right in.
Well, he might have snookered himself here. He's okay.
Well, 4-1 it is to Gav Robinson. A fantastic start from him. A reminder to those who may be unfamiliar, the shootout format here in operation in the Super Series. We are playing black ball rules. Ball must hit a cushion after contact. A foul doesn't include 2 shots. It is an opponent will have 1 shot and then one free shot and then a visit. Skill shots are in operation as well. We have golden breaks. If you pop the black off the break, the frame is over. You win it. If you pop the black and the white, the frame's over. And the other way, you lose it. We are best of 5 sets. A race to 5 frames in each set. Sets last half an hour. Split up into 2 15s, which control our shot clocks. And Gav has hit so many good breaks so far, and that is by far and away the worst one he's hit. Tell us why.
Well, when you play the screwback shot, and we've seen him execute it perfectly twice, the white's going to come straight back up the centre of the table. You only have to be out by a fraction, and those corner pockets come into play. And you saw that before this break, he has screwed the white straight into the top corner, and that is the danger with playing the screw shot. Still 11 minutes on the clock here for Alex. He does have to win at least 3 frames to get back into this set. But they played so far. Oh, has he missed an easy ball? I'd say they played so quickly so far that there's still just about enough time.
Yeah, but he can't afford mistakes, because in a race to 5, Gav is just 1 away. And Alex really shot himself in the foot there.
Be interested to see how Gav goes about this. The yellows really aren't nice at all. 3 yellows on the left-hand side have no future at all. And there's one on the right-hand side. Okay, there's a double on it, but there's work everywhere. So does he try and slow this up? Does he try and waste some time on the clock? Or does he look to be aggressive? I think
he has an angle here, doesn't he?
It's in his nature to be aggressive. I don't think he knows any other way.
He's been actually very, very unfortunate there. Although, he may still have a double if he wants to go, but, well, we'll find out.
Just trying to cover this bottom right-hand corner, and actually that's a pretty well-played shot.
Alex back at the table, and he'll be relieved for that.
He will, but he knows it's a chance gone because the red now doesn't go to the bottom right-hand corner, so he now has a problem that he has to solve when they were all open before, and it's wasting time on the clock that he really can't afford to do.
It's a clever shot, and he's now going to be able to get on it. Just needs to have enough angle to get himself up the table to get a decent position on this red.
He just gave himself the sarcastic tap of the table, not happy with his position, a touch too straight.
He used every millimetre of that pocket there to force an angle. Played that really well in the end. Did Alex? That had a little bit of a wobble as well, but he won't mind that too much. He is in with a shout. There is 9 minutes left of this opening set. Alex O'Donoghue makes it 4-2. He does need to win every frame available to him. If it were to end 4-4 when the clock strikes 0, that would be half a point for each player. Reminder of we've got to come tomorrow. Simon Fitzsimmons versus Sean Storey. That will be a belter. 2 fantastic players. Another very evenly set out match, but Simon, with what he's achieved in the shootout, would start as favourite. Well, Alex has got what he needed, being behind. It's the best break we've seen him hit, actually, and it's come right at the opportune moment for Alex O'Donoghue. Really needed that, and all of a sudden you're looking at the clock and you're doing some quick maths and you're thinking, well, you know, maybe.
There is still time, and the golden break always adds that extra element that you've always got that chance of coming up with the golden break to win a frame in one shot. Although this is not a table that is overly inviting for Alex.
It's not a table that's overly inviting for Gav either.
It's almost a tease from Alex. He's almost saying, there you go, Gav, take these on.
He's not one usually to require encouragement. I don't think he wants that to drop. Yeah, he looks pretty happy with that. It's quite a clever shot.
Does Alex feel forced to take the skill shot to the top left corner and really go after this? He's got that. If he does take the skill shot onto the top left corner,
it's a great effort. He's really unlucky.
He's very close, and he would only have the one on the right-hand side to solve, but he hasn't got the skill shot, so still got a problem there.
Decided not to mess about. It's a great double, and the skill shot now is on into the top left. These balls are lined up pretty straight. This is tough. Played it beautifully. Well, there's plenty of time left in this one here.
Having to play this one cushion first. He's not quite on this yellow.
It's not quite there. Just a little survey of the table. It's not the easiest clearance, this, for Gav. Alex will cling to the idea that there's still hope in this set.
This double could open everything up. If he takes the double on, it could open up the red that's next to it. Looking for another option. Clock's against him.
And I think that's a prime example of, probably the best example we've had in a little while, actually, of the clock really impacting a player. Gav took his eye off the watch, and we've really forced a rush there, and has made a pretty cataclysmic error.
Neither of these players have played in a shootout event before. So the 15 seconds a shot is going to be new to both of them, and that was the first one, as you say, that we've seen a player really caught out by it.
Oh, that's a bad shot. Sloppy one, Alex.
He should still be able to recover the situation, but he's going to have to work much harder now.
This is horrible to cue.
He's fortunate. There's not that many reds in the way, so he's got plenty of room to land on this black. It's just not the way he wanted to go.
Where's that white ball? He's all right. He seems to be scrapping at everything at the moment, Alex. It's not quite going all his own way, but he's getting there, and inch by inch, he's eking his way back into this set. It's 4-3. We have 4 minutes and 55 seconds remaining of this opening set. Gav Robinson still only needs to win a frame to take the set. But Alex here, will be crossing everything that he has to see if this break comes up dry, because if it does, he's got enough to win the frame in terms of time and maybe even do something very, very special himself. It's a big break, this, for Gav Robinson. The last one wasn't successful. That is much more like what we've seen, and that may well be enough to end up taking this first set. He's played that beautifully.
Excellent from Gav. You could see him just a small shake of the head as he was coming to the table to break off. He knew he had a couple of opportunities to possibly get over the line in this set already, and he could almost feel Alex coming back at him, but this break is about as good as you could hope for. The red does pass the black to the top left. Every red has a pocket.
I think I'd probably go as far as to say is that the big difference so far in this opening set, in this match, has been Gav's break. It's been a real difference maker for him. Apart from the one that went in off, other than that, they've been hit absolutely to perfection.
Yeah, it's not just making the ball off the break. Gav's given himself opportunities because the break's been so big, and he's made balls and he's had opportunities to clear up. He's had 2 breaking dishes out of the 4 breaks he's had, and this would be a third if he can complete it for the set. Whereas Alex's breaks, although he's made a ball 3 times out of 4, he hasn't had that good an opportunity to go for a finish and has had to play more tactically.
Well, this for the opening set then for Gav Robinson. It's been a great game so far. He's given us some wonderful shots, and that was probably the simplest one that he's had to play. Gav Robinson takes the opening set of this one. At the minute, he is 1-0 up. Can Alex come back? We'll find out. Break. Welcome back to the Freesports Super Series. We are 1 set in to the match so far from Gav Robinson and Alex O'Donoghue, and so it's been a really interesting match so far. The first set taken by Gav Robinson, and in doing so he had to play a couple of quite magical shots.
Yeah, the double into the middle pocket was a bit of a hammer blow for Alex. It really put him in control of the set, put him 3-1 ahead, and it looked like, well, he ran out of position onto the black. If he doesn't make the double in the centre, it's 2-2, and all of a sudden we've got a different set. He stumbled a little bit getting over the line, but a great break dish to finally get it done.
One thing that's been a feature of Gav's game so far has been a hammer of a break, and that's, well, it's gone against him. We've given him the big one so far, and the white didn't go in, but in reality it didn't really make a huge amount of difference to him. Alex is at the table with a pretty good split here. Just got a little bit of time to figure out his plan and his pattern. A reminder that the shot clock has gone back to 30 seconds. A shake of the head there from Alex O'Donoghue. Another fairly routine pot that he's missed, and there has been a couple of those.
Yeah, Alex is going to be disgusted with that effort. This table was really laid out open for him to get himself in front in this set, having lost the opening set, and that was about as bad a miss as he's probably ever made in this sort of competition.
And just a referee there, Donna Evans, ensuring that the players didn't cross as they came to and from the table. Almost a merry-go-round system that we're operating here in order to keep socially distanced as best as possible. Doing a lot of things here at the production offices in the West Midlands to make sure that everything is as safe as it can possibly be. There's only 3 people in the arena, that all the cameras are operated away from the actual camera themselves. We'll call it robotically. It's not technically true, but we'll go with that word. A lot of effort's been made to get this competition on, and it's one that's sort of captured the imagination amongst the players on the tour as well, Simon, because it's the first pool we've seen back in such a long time, and those who aren't playing in it, they're all watching it.
I think it's just the format, I really do. I think the OMG guys and Free Sports, this shootout style of pool that we see, it really promotes high quality attacking pool played at breakneck speed, and it's great to see some of these players playing in this event.
Well, you talk about high quality pool played at a breakneck speed. A few finer proponents in this Super Series so far than what we've seen from Gav Robinson in this opening set and a frame. He has been flying. Only the one that missed pots. 5 frames, 6 frames now won. And we've seen some magic moments, but we've also seen someone who looks very confident.
He is a very confident player. He has that kind of cocky swagger around the table, but in the nicest possible way. He really does. And the big stat there for me, look at the breaks and look at the 3 breaking dishes. All came in the first set. He's actually just had a breaking dish to start this set, so he's had 4 now. And you know, when you're breaking dishing, you're stopping your opponent coming to the table.
Table to break, and it's just not going his way at the moment. And what would have felt like the ultimate example of that is if the white had ended up going off. I tell you what, well, Gav Robinson's pulling out all the stops here, so he's played a couple of, I mean, ridiculous shots already. That is right out of the top drawer, and he's run into a little bit of trouble. He's going to take advantage here with the safety that he's about to play. But what a high quality bit of play that is.
It's what you get with Gav. He can pull out the big shots. You know, he's very entertaining to watch.
I'll tell you what, I said he was going to play a safety. I don't think he knows what a safety is.
He really doesn't. He's so aggressive, and he believes he can clear up any time he comes to the table. He's capable of pulling out a big shot from anywhere and turning around a frame that looks like he's running into trouble in. He is that sort of player. He really can get on a roll, and once he gets that swagger and he really gets rolling, you feel like he's going to win every frame, every opportunity he gets.
It's what it looks like at the moment. This has been a real contrast between the 2 players that we've seen here so far. Gav Robinson flying around the table, clearly full of beans, playing shots like this at will, and backing himself to get out the problems that he's making for himself, whereas Alex just seems to be almost fighting the table.
Yeah, it's the big shots that Gav's playing is giving him these opportunities, and here's another one, and another clearance as well.
This is actually, when you consider all the shots that he's had to play for this clearance, this has been one of the better ones we've seen in the tournament so far. Brilliant work from Gav Robinson. And that's 2-zip in the second set, rather. Let's have another look at this one. It's taken down into the top left as we look at it, but the bottom left ordinarily. This is a tough shot.
The balls are that close together, it's really hard to pick out the potting angle, and he had to sort of raise the butt of the cue because of the cushion, but he still wanted the white to go forward to land on the next ball, so it's a really well executed shot. And that finish there couldn't sum up Gav more. He's so aggressive. He's taking on a finish that others may not go for. He pulls out 2, 3, 4 big shots. All of a sudden, frames 1.
He's just having a moment here on the break where it's not quite going for him. But he has to keep the faith here because he's objectively breaking really, really well. He's just not got the run of the ball. That's a fantastic hit, a great spread, and ultimately when that happens and you don't make a ball, it is ultimately down to luck. Nothing you can really control about that. He's going to give Alex a great chance, but he has to keep the faith. Breaking so well.
Yeah, the players will have a second and possibly third break they can go to. They will move it around to try and find a spot that works, but Gav's shown that he's already got the break going, so when you have a couple that don't go for you, it'll be interesting to see how long he'll give it before he chops and changes. can't help but feel this is a really important visit in the match for Alex. This is a visit he knows he should finish. Has to hit the gap of the yellows here. He may have come back too far. Oh, he looks okay. Maybe a little swerve. He's looking at what he would leave when he pops the red at the top, so I think he is on this red to the top left. Threaded the needle nicely through those yellows.
Yeah, I think you're right what you said there. So it feels like a big frame for Alex to win. Just getting a little bit of confidence as well, because even the frames that he has won, we've noticed a few of the shots, they're wobbling in off jaws. He's not quite found his rhythm yet. And I mean, totally understandable. I think he told you in an interview he played, what, 2 or 3 times since lockdown began. Even for a player who doesn't necessarily practice constantly, his full-time job doesn't allow him to. Barely anything for a good 3-4 months.
And there's a difference between practice and he's okay, lands on the black. There's a difference between practice and match play, and it's okay doing it in practice, but if you haven't played a match for 4 months, it's very tough.
That's a really, really good dish, that, from Alex O'Donoghue, and that should give him a little bit of a confidence boost. Bit more like it from Alex. Take a look at our recent Shootout champions on Free Sports. You can see there the name Jordan Shepherd appear over and over and over again. Good reason for that. He's pretty good in this format. He's coming up in a couple of days' time as he enters the Super Series here on Free Sports. Another regular finalist is in action tomorrow. Simon Fitzsimmons enters the Super Series. Owns perhaps the most dramatic Shootout victory that we've ever and may ever see, at least for a little while. That dramatic win over Jordan Shepherd up in Scotland. And we can't wait to see him in action tomorrow.
Interesting to see if he's got any. I know that was 7 months ago, but is there any hangover of it? You know, the way he won that grand final, clearing up twice in 2.5 minutes, including racking the balls to take the title away from Jordan Shepherd.
Never quite gets old.
I mean,
saying that 2.5 minutes, including the rack, two breaks and dishes, just remarkable.
I can't stop watching it. I keep seeing it come up on social media. I'll keep watching it and I'll keep watching it. I just think it's breathtaking.
Okay, a little tilt to the side there. Don't know if he'll be too hurt by this. He's taking the top left pocket, which isn't a terrible result for him, but yellow's certainly the more difficult colour set here, but it is a chance for Alex.
It is, and the yellows all have a pocket. He needs to work a couple of them out. And this is how you stop someone that's got the momentum. Someone that's flying along like Gav was, is to get an opportunity and take it. And Alex did that in the previous frame, and it's important he continues that in this frame and get to 2-2. He had it taken away from him in the first set. He was 2-1 behind, and it was a brilliant double into the centre pocket for Gav to get 3-1 in front. When does he go for the yellow on the right-hand side cushion? What does he want to play on afterwards? He's gone straight after it now. So straight's no good. Needs an angle. He's got an angle. He's probably got too much of an angle. It's a tough pot now.
Yeah, it's a little tickler along the rail, isn't it? It's a bit of a horrible one, this. But the table is playing very true.
It is, and he can concentrate on the pot because the white is guaranteed. Oh, I say it's guaranteed. He's knocked a yellow awkward. It's a touch unlucky. I mean, he probably was playing the cannon because he felt he couldn't avoid it, but slightly thinner on that red, and it's all really simple. Now he's got a problem.
It does go to a couple of pockets, but getting the white in a position to do that is going to be so difficult from here. Sending it round and around the table. Is he going to have an angle? He can hit it.
He's having a look from... Oh, this is a great camera angle to see. Has he got enough of that yellow to pot it? Well, I think he must have, because he's looking at cushion first off the red, so he can see plenty of this yellow. That was an excellent shot. As was that.
Brilliant. Superb from Alex O'Donoghue. It's a really, really good recovery. I mentioned he's had to fight and claw his way into this game, but the last two dishes from Alex have shown what sort of player he is. He is a very, very talented player. He squares things up in the second set.
He's got lots of steel about him, is Alex. He's never out of a match. I mean, that is under huge pressure, really, in this match. If he loses his frame, goes 3-1 behind in the second set, having already lost the first set, to pull out that kind of finish. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Alex.
And as in any best of 5 format, the second set in this case, so crucial. The difference between 2-0 and 1-1, absolutely ginormous. And Gav's breakers returned to him. He kept the faith, and eventually he has made a ball, and he's still getting those good splits. This has been unerringly consistent from Gav Robinson, really, on the break. The splits that he's been getting have been so good every time.
He's really splitting the balls up nicely. It's just whether he gets the opportunity off the break or whether Alex does. As he shakes his head, he doesn't quite get the cue ball he wanted. He was looking to go past that yellow, red into the right centre pocket. He's still on that, I think. It's very close to see whether he can see past the yellow to play that shot. But it's thinner than he wanted to be.
Yeah, this is horrible. It's awkward cueing as well.
Yeah, he's tried to play it off the yellow and red in the middle of the table.
That would have been a champagne shot.
And I think that, for me, highlights the difference between the two players in that situation. You know, Gav is all-out attack. He is only thinking about trying to clear up. Wherever he leaves the white, he is thinking about trying to clear up. Whereas we've seen Alex in a similar sort of position, and he's thinking, okay, I'm going to look for a containing shot. How can I give myself another opportunity in the frame? And, you know, if you're playing well, you can't argue against either option. You know, if Gav makes that pot and he goes on to make a clearance, we talk about what a brilliant shot.
Cute little cannons from Alex here as well to open up the table. Been really nicely played, and you can see the difference in it, even in just his demeanour. The confidence is starting to return.
You'll see with Alex, yeah, he's about, those little nudges are on purpose. He's got tighter cue ball control than Gavin. He doesn't throw the white round as much. He looks to keep it tight, really back his patterns. It's also a sign of a snooker player, and although both these players were fantastic snooker players in their youth, use their opponent's ball quite a lot to control the white, you know, play the white into a red in this situation just to hold it in position.
15-second shot clock is now in operation.
He's a couple of inches short of perfect here. I think he can just about hold the white. I'll use the red this time. Okay, this is awkward, but he's okay. Just has to concentrate on the pot and then the pace of the cue ball. Oh, he feels he might be going close to win off, so he's really trying to raise the butt of the cue. Brilliant shot.
Played it really nicely, and this is some recovery this from Alex. This is for a third frame in a row. And he is on a roll, is Mr. O'Donoghue. That is 3-2 in the second set. The Don from Swindon.
Yeah, Alex from Swindon, from the Wiltshire area. Got to know Alex in my days playing for Wiltshire. Lives pretty close to me. Twice a World Championship quarter-final. That's a pretty good achievement in itself. Loves a bit of carp fishing as well with his son.
A Liverpool fan as well, so he's enjoyed a decent last 7 days or so.
Probably riding a little bit of a high, yeah.
3 frames to 2, trading 1 set to 0. Time running.
and a golden break. Well, when it is rolling, it is going. Alex O'Donoghue has won 3 frames in a row. He's full of confidence. And wouldn't you know it, back to black off the break, frame done and dusted. 4 in a row.
What a break from Alex. That black just slowly moved towards the corner pocket. Absolutely fantastic from Alex. Really hit that break well. And I think he's the sort of player that when he's cueing well and he's getting through the ball well, like he's shown over the last 3 frames, he almost gets a bit more power through the pack because he knows he's cueing better. And this is a perfect sign of it. Black always going in.
Well, that's arrowed into the corner. Is that the secret formula, is it? Well, Gav in response has, I think, nearly split his cue in half to hit that cue ball so hard. Watch this. Really is piecing it on the breaks here. And he too got the black on the move towards that bottom corner, but a good split here for Gav, and he just needs to arrest this sort of slide. He's not really made any, you know, glaring mistakes particularly, but Alex's consistency's been brilliant in the last 4 frames.
Alex has found a gear for sure. He was going against him at 2-0 down in this set, found something. It was only, probably you would say, Gav had a couple of half chances he didn't take. But sometimes your opponent can just wrestle it away from you. And just going back to that golden break for a second, it's very rare you see a golden break like that, where from the front ball break, the black just slowly tracks towards the corner. Normally from a front ball break, you'll see the black being kicked in, where you get the black in motion by another ball flying into it, rather than it just going in like that.
Didn't get into that. A few inches short there. Here's Gav Robinson. I think he's still just about okay, but it's not where he wants it to be.
Yeah, he wants to open up this red and black at the same time as potting this to the right corner.
Oh, it clings on. Under apology out for Alex.
He's still okay as well. It's a tricky pot to the centre, but it's on.
That's unlucky. It's really unlucky. Good effort.
We've seen the centre pockets are a little tight on this table. The table does play beautifully, this blackball table. One of the characteristics is a slightly tighter centre pocket than we've seen with other tables, and that's just another example of it. This is for the set for Alex. What a turnaround. At 2-0, and he just missed a really easy ball at 2-0 as well. Or to go 2-0 down, he missed a really easy ball. You started to fear for him in this set.
Yeah, it looked like the world was going against him, didn't it? And it just shows what a fickle thing in many ways that momentum, form, confidence can all be through the progress of a match. Because Alex is flying, and you'd never know that 20 minutes ago he looked in a world of trouble.
It's not ideal. You can just see on this camera angle the white is going up towards the top end of the table, although there are no yellows in the way, so this white can do some travelling.
He couldn't roll that one in, could he? Had to fire it into the middle bag, but it's absolutely spot on. And this for the second set. Beautifully done from Alex O'Donoghue. And, well, it couldn't have been a stranger set, could it, Taom? We saw Gav return to the form that he exhibited in the first. 2-0 straight away up in the second set. And then 5 in a row, including a golden break from Alex O'Donoghue. We've got a game on our hands. Welcome back to the Super Series pool here on Free Sports. Stephen Jameson with you all evening long, as we've got a real game on our hands here between Gav Robinson and Alex O'Donoghue. 1-1, you join us with the third set about to get underway, and we've just seen a marvellous display of redemption, really, from Alex O'Donoghue, Simon, who's come out of nowhere to win 5 frames on the spin when he looked in all kinds of trouble at the start of that set.
Absolutely, he's turned the match around. He was struggling in the beginning of the set, and Gav was playing really well. He built on the confidence of winning the opening set, and the only way to stop a player, especially a streaky player like Gav, is to get an opportunity and to take it, and that's what Alex did, but he did it in some style.
We did, of course, see a golden break. This was to go 4-3 up, and it's obviously a unique thing with the shootout here on Freesports, Simon, but this is about, I mean, that's as clean a golden break as you could possibly hit.
It's very rare to see the black go in like that from the front ball. Normally, you know, the black might stay fairly central and then it gets kicked in off the cushion. This one goes straight in, but as I said, you know, live, he was cueing so well at that point. He was getting through the pack with his break really, really well because he was cueing so well and he was riding a high of confidence.
Yeah, that's the one to take an eye on for all the pros gearing up to try and take on a golden break themselves. Try and break that one down. Speaking of good breaks, this is another belter. Ball down from either colour, and options aplenty for Alex O'Donoghue. He's riding high.
Well, it's his job now, isn't it? We saw with Gav. Can you ride that momentum to another set? Gav got himself 2-0 in front in set number 2.
And a reminder, we're back at the 30-second shot clock. I'm sure those of you who've been with us now for the first couple of sets are starting to get the hang of it. Those veteran shootout viewers among you will be very much familiar with the format now. I'm going to use one of the oldest cliches in the book here. It's a funny old game. It really is remarkable sometimes what happens. That is just totally unexplainable.
It is. Well, I'm going to try to anyway, but it was a much tougher pot than it looked. He didn't have much of a pocket to try and pop that in. He was so worried about getting past the other red that he's tried to pinch it and play it off the jaw, and he's got it all wrong. He's missed it by a distance, so he will be annoyed, and the fact that he took it on, it must have gone, but he didn't have much pocket. That is the sort of shot that can really stop you in your tracks when you've had everything going your way for 5 straight frames. Opportunity to get yourself going in set number 3, and you make that mistake.
Well, we talked, didn't we, about how when the momentum's going against you, what you need is an opportunity, and then you've got to take it. And that's exactly the scenario that Gav Robinson finds himself in now, similar to what Alex had at the start of the last set. He's been gifted a chance here. He's got great spread. A little bit of work to do on the left of the table, as you can see. But a decent chance here.
The problem with the yellow on the left-hand side, the one that's near the rail, is that if he goes for that next, and he might do, then landing on the next yellow is trickier. He has to play this one up the top to the top left-hand corner with some pace and get the white to come across those reds to the right-hand side of the table. Adds to the tariff of the shot.
Not a gimme of a shot either. It was a really, really tough one.
He's missed it by quite a distance as well.
I mean, he's obviously frustrated there. I'd love to know what exactly has irked him so particularly. It was quite a big miss in the end.
He might have felt he had a poor contact, or it's just one of those things you see from a pool player. It's never a pool player's fault. There's always something gone wrong.
There's one thing that commentating on pool with you all these years, Sonny, that has taught me is that it's never a pool player's fault.
No, absolutely. Yeah, you can say that, you know, and why not? Why blame yourself? You know, it's easier to take it, or you might find it easier to take if you blame something else. Not the best shot from Alex. Left a little bit straight.
It's a good recovery though. Really good recovery.
I think he's got the angle where he can play this plain ball just to avoid the black. If not, he might have to put a trace aside just to straighten things up.
Ended up getting a very kind little kiss on that black, just to give himself a very, very straightforward pot to take the first frame of the third set. It's 6 frames in a row for Alex O'Donoghue. He is flying. This is Gav Robinson, Rocket Robinson, from Bishop Auckland in the northeast. He is a really, really good player to watch. We've seen that already. He's been in a World Series semi-final. Big Newcastle United fan. his favourite player is Mark Farnsworth, that part of the world. Local inspiration.
It's no surprise to see that either, because he's learned so much from Mark. He's spent a lot of time practicing with Mark, and Gavin's actually not been playing Paul that long, 4 or 5 years only, and he's really come on a long way in those 4 or 5 years, and a lot of that comes down to the fact that he's been able to play and practice with players like Mark Farnsworth and Chris Bowron before that.
It'd be a great game to watch, Mark Farnsworth versus Gav Robinson. Two of the most opposite players you could probably pitch together on a pool table.
Yeah, if Gav could learn just a little bit more of the precision and patterns from Mark, he would be, well, he would certainly be closer to winning a title on the tour for sure. But yeah, very entertaining match to watch. Actually, I was chatting to Gav when he arrived earlier, and he was saying that he was practicing before Mark a couple of weeks ago, before Mark played his first match. Those that were watching, Mark played at just an extraordinarily high standard in his match, beating Ben Rowland, and he said he pushed Mark. He said he pushed Mark pretty hard in that match, so he knew he was playing well, coming out of no practice for what, 10 weeks or so. Difficult this. I think there's just enough gap to get through. Pot the yellow he's nearest to through past the other one, but the problem he's got is when he pots the yellow that's nearest the pocket, how do you get on the black? Hard to avoid the red. Position is difficult.
Stops the white ball dead. Roger queuing, and he might have to bring out his magic wand a bit here. It's not a double, I don't think, but it's this is a toughie, but no hesitation. It's a good effort. Oh, what a shot.
That is Gav Robinson. Just nowhere with position at the end of the visit, but doesn't matter. Big shot, wins the frame.
What I like about Robinson in particular, he doesn't give himself time to think about it. He wants to create a bigger problem in his own head about how tough the shot is. He's like, well, there it is. This is my shot. I know what I've got to do. I'm just going to go and play it. And a reminder what these two are playing for. It's a place in the quarterfinals of the Freesports Super Series. They'll play either of Mason Penny and Jordan Shepherd. They meet on Thursday, not Wednesday, as I earlier advertised. These days in the quarantine sphere all get lost into one. Very much spent the entirety of today thinking it was Monday, but here we are. And it's a bit of a nightmare break, this. Straight into the middle pocket, which, again, we saw one from Gav a little bit earlier where it went straight to the top pocket. That is pure user error.
Yeah, that's another sign that the momentum swings, isn't it? That Gav has had to wrestle that away. He's done that, and now he's got an opportunity on Alex's break, having lost 6 straight frames. But I agree with what you were saying on Gav. The thing I like about the previous frame, he did run out of position on that black, and when he does do that, there's no shake of the head. There's no I'm annoyed here. He just finds the next shot and he executes it.
He's making a great habit of executing them as well. He's played a couple of amazing black ball shots in this match already. That double in the first set will be one of the shots of the tournament, one would imagine. Oh, we need a few more inches on that one. And even he might have to think about this for a few seconds, but it will only be a few seconds. He's rerouting.
He's such a clean potter of the ball. It feels like he can get himself out of trouble from any situation.
He backs it up, that's the thing. He really has. It hasn't always worked. I mean, that strategy by definition is chancy. It doesn't always work, can't. But when it does, it is so brilliant to watch. Still not out of the woods. Still got a lot of work to do here. But he's got a chance.
Well, he keeps going, doesn't he? He keeps digging, and he often gets out. The black going up the table sort of helps him. It means that he can play for the red at the top of the table last. But leaving an angle to be able to get up the table off his last red at the bottom of the table is going to be very difficult. Well, he's decided to go up for it now.
Stop, it says hold, hold, hold.
And it has. That was the problem when I played. I never had a cue ball that listened to me. Needs a bounce. Oh, he's giving it the old wave to get up there as well.
It's listening. I tell you what, this has been a high tariff clearance. Really has. 2 more tricky shots for one of the better clearances we've seen, certainly tonight, maybe in the first 6 days of this competition. Oh, take a bow, Gav Robinson. What a clearance that is. What a clearance that is. There was so many times, so many points within that frame where you thought, no, he's taking too much. He's taking too much on. No, 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 no.
But I just hope he never changes. It's incredible to watch. He's just losing the white. Big shot, get himself back into position, lose the white again. Another big shot, and it's so entertaining to watch.
Well, these pair are both rattling along at a fair old clip. We've had 2 sets already, and in both of the opening 2 sets, we've saved ourselves quite a bit of time. Second set was over in 21 minutes of the allotted 30. First one we had 4 minutes to spare. These fellas are not hanging about. That's a beauty of a break. Oh, has he kicked the white in? No, he's all right. And Gav Robinson once again. You mentioned he was a streaky player, and it feels like he's hitting a hot streak again. You can't not take confidence after a clearance like the one he's just produced.
It really is incredible the way he goes about the game. And you can see when he has that, he almost has that little bounce around the table because he's rolling, and you just feel like he could then, it wouldn't surprise us if he, wrapped this up in 5 visits. It's just the way he plays. But this is a tough finish. Red on the right-hand side, that's tricky, although it will go as a double or to the top right-hand corner. The red in the bottom half of the table is trickier.
But tricky clearances don't mean jack to Gav Robinson. We've seen that. This is routine. He likes it as well. He's starting to feel it. A little nod of the... whatever the conversation he's having with the cue ball, it's working.
Yeah, it really is. I'm sure he's got the full pocket. Well, he thinks he can clip this into the centre pocket, so he's trying to develop... He was trying to develop this red on the left-hand side, but he believes he can pot it into the middle pocket. Now, the problem with doing this is how do you land on your next red? It's hard to play this with enough pace to get anywhere.
He's having a look at the red at the top of the table, I think.
And these are the small sort of situations, and Gav may well still get out here, but these are the sorts of situations where he really, if he's going to put some time and practice with players like Mark Farnsworth, this is the sort of situation he needs to learn from, because I think he could have found a better way of going about this clearance. Once he'd done the hard...
Oh, I tell you what, as he fluked it. Oh, no, not quite.
Once he'd done the hard work and developed that red on the right-hand side, I think there was possibly a different route he could have found. But those are the sorts of things that he's going to learn. The more he plays, the more he improves, the more he practices with great players. Alex deciding not to go for a finish. Can't blame him for that. Yellow at the top of the table, that's a problem. He's got control of this frame at the moment. Might take him 2 or 3 visits to earn the opportunity.
Yeah, first real safety battle we've seen emerge, really, and I don't think it'll last forever. Alex is not far away from being able to go game, as it were, here.
You're just not going to see many tactical battles with Gav, he doesn't want to play them. He is so aggressive. Alex could pop this yellow to the left centre and just cannon into the other yellow, nudge it open. That would just leave the one bad yellow at the top of the table, which is in a pretty good position for a double. He may be thinking about cutting this up to the top left corner now. In or over's okay. He went for the double, and actually he's been very fortunate.
Yeah, you see the hand of apology there. That's really stuck Gav in a lot of trouble.
Knocking that red as safe as he has been a big bonus, but you can see where the cue ball's finished and where the red was before it moved. It's actually a really good choice of shot, because if it goes in, he's a great chance to clear up. If it doesn't go in, he's still got control of the frame. Wouldn't have been leaving Gav anything easy.
Oh wow.
15-second shot clock in operation.
15-second shot clock now for Alex with which to work, and the table is now open for him. I just wonder trying to figure out if that would have been a fluke or not, Simon.
No, I think that was as played.
It was an unorthodox sort of plant double, wasn't it?
He may have been thinking about a double rather than treble, but yeah, it's only he'll know that. That hasn't helped Alex. Sometimes leaving them where they are is the best option. The yellow went where it did. Now it's in a worse position for trying to move it.
Doesn't go very easily at all. And now he has the ability and the opportunity here to make him pay. But that's such a sloppy miss. And you counted on him to make that, didn't you? The way he's been playing the last few frames, just seeing the momentum was with him.
He's a very clean potter. When he's got an open pot, even though that was tough, you expect him to make it. When you think Gav's going to run into trouble when he loses the white rather than with potting. And you can't help but feel both players are sensing this is an important moment in this match. 2-1, 13 minutes left in a crucial third set.
That was a good shot from Alex. Is he going to leave the white ball for this black? He is absolutely perfect. So we are going to be one set each. And I was about to say 2 frames each, but Alex has missed a dolly. It's the sort of shot you just do not expect to be missed.
And that's going to cost him a frame for sure, and a crucial frame. It really is a bad miss from Alex. Hard work was done.
He played a couple of brilliant shots in the build-up to that as well. And those are just so difficult to explain away. And that could be a massive turning point in this game. That's a gimme for Gav Robinson. And he was not going to pass up the opportunity to go 3-1 up. He shouldn't have had it, there's no doubt about that. Should not have had the opportunity to win that frame the way he did. But win it he has. And we have got a real game on our hands.
We have, yeah, that was a big mistake from Alex. 2-2 or 3-1 in this set is huge, and it's a bad mistake. It's a surprising mistake considering how well he'd found form in the previous set.
It's just out of nowhere, isn't it? You just can't explain those misses at all. Makes those 99 times out of 100. Looks like a dry break there. Again, another decent split. Both players are breaking well at this point in the match. But it just seems almost typical that Alex is broken dry, having just made a big error. It's amazing how often it happens.
As a player, you think it always happens to you. You make a mistake and you almost bring on that dry break yourself.
Oh, Gav has almost put himself into a little bit of bother here. He's made that yellow. I don't know if he's got a second one, and he hasn't got a huge amount of time to play this shot. But as ever, he will take it on.
Recovery shots from everywhere for Gav. I think he's still okay. This will open everything up. Watch the black. Watch the black. He's okay. Well, I say he's okay because the black's not gone in, but he's not on the next ball. Where is his recovery this time?
That's the thing. We mentioned we don't think he's got a safe bone in his body. What's he got?
It is a safety.
Well, chalk this one up.
Yeah, there's not been many from Gav in this match, has there? And that is a world of trouble now for Gav.
That is the shot of a former snooker player. This is horrible. It's a good hit, but the table's now open. It's the one thing Alex has to be very wary of, and it may stop him from going for the clearance straight away, is the red on the right side of the table is a real problem ball for him.
It is. He has one near it, which he might feel is a good opportunity to develop it. He's choosing to wait a couple of visits.
Time out, please.
It's a tough one, this, isn't it? Because going to a safety batter with a player like Gav Robinson, who just so doesn't want to be in it. You do almost run the risk that he's going to do something extra aggressive, and it just ends up working out for him.
I think in Alex's situation here, as he grimaces because he can't quite see the potting angle of the red nearest the left centre pocket, in Alex's situation you have to believe that you're playing the percentage shot, and if Gav comes up with something incredible or something brilliant, you have to just sort of say fair play. What you can't do is push the bat out yourself and almost give it to Gav. You have to, you know, you in this sort of situation, this frame, if you want to almost tease Gav and say, go on, take something big on, then so be it.
So be it. 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Big pot. It was on. It's open for him. He's got a tough shot here. The yellow into the corner isn't the difficult bit, and he's got to play it.
Black's in his way. The black, he would have loved to, in a normal circumstances, gone into those two yellows. I think the black was blocking the path. So it's a double. If this goes in, he should develop the other yellow.
Yeah, he got that one all wrong. Him and the cue ball not on speaking terms at the moment, apparently.
Yeah, he's Donna changed the cue ball. That's, he's been a bit fortunate, though. Watch the yellow here. It goes up and gets close to this red. Blocks the red to the centre pocket. Otherwise, this would have been a fairly routine finish for Alex. Although I think if Alex can get across to the right-hand side of the table, he can take the one down the rail. And then I think the red will either go to the top corner. I think he might take it to the top corner first, and then that solves all the problems.
Yeah, there's a clever positional shot there.
You could see him looking down the rail first. He was almost playing for the choice of the two.
Interestingly, as Alex runs aground here, he's not really particularly struggled with the shot clock. If you had to pick a player who's maybe looked a little bit uncomfortable with it, it's actually been Gav.
Yeah, he's been the closest to making a mistake with it. The problem Alex had there was, that I was just about to get to it, was the black. He didn't go to the bottom right-hand corner, which was his obvious pocket. So he was trying to play the black full in the face there. So just to nudge it lower so that he could then take it onto the corner. And he's just got the angle wrong, and he's ended up snookering himself. That's cost him another frame.
And he's going to run out of frames to cost himself here. Here's Alex O'Donoghue, 4-1 in this third set. Gav Robinson one away from going 2-1 up. Coming up next on Free Sports, we've got some La Liga World for you. And then following that, we have some Liga NOS from Portugal. It's a replay of the game earlier from Marítimo and Benfica. Big game that for Benfica as they continue to battle at the top of the Primeira Liga against Porto. And catch up with what happened earlier when we come off air here in the West Midlands. Oh no. Well, the drama keeps on coming. We've only got just less than 6 minutes here in this third set. Is there enough time for Alex to get three frames here? He's going to have to rattle these off. These are in an ideal position to get this frame over and done within about 30 seconds.
If there ever was an opportunity to rattle them off 3 quickly, this is the start you want. And you can see Alex is aware. He's definitely stepped up the pace just a fraction. I always think in this situation, you still need to make sure. Don't risk the clearance by over-rushing. But he's been in perfect position all the way through.
That's how quick a frame can be. Dream frame for Alex O'Donoghue. That was, I mean, 50 seconds?
Yeah, if that. It just broke beautifully for him. Gav potted the white off the break, and that made it easy for him.
Reminder of what's coming up tomorrow. Simon Fitzsimmons, a man who knows a thing or two about rattling off a couple of quick frames. He's in action against Sean Storey. Belter coming up tomorrow on Freesports. We are here at same time, same place. Alex O'Donoghue, he fancies this. He's just creamed the biggest break he's hit all night. 4 minutes left. And at this point, he has got the time. He knows that. He needs a little bit of luck. The next break isn't his. He doesn't have to fly around the table. I think you were just about to say exactly the same thing.
I was just going to say he can't afford not to make this clearance, I don't think. I think he has to be aggressive here. You can't risk Gav coming to the table because he could play a negative shot, tie the match up, although that's against Gav's nature. Although I was disappointed he was trying to make that off the yellow just to open up the pocket. So he may be forced into the safety shot here. And he is. And this is where the problems come.
Well, as you mentioned, it goes against Gav Robinson's very psyche to try and think about playing clock or playing negatively here. Be interesting to see what he does. He'll always back himself to take a pot. We've seen that enough times just tonight.
There isn't really, just looking at the table, there wasn't really a good way of trying to tie the table up, although he has managed to tie a red up. I was looking to see whether he could take a pocket or try and, you know, cause a cluster, that sort of thing, and he probably didn't have that option, so was being aggressive. I think the red still goes to the centre pocket, so it's okay for Alex here.
And he'll have a chance. These next few balls go, he's going to have a decent chunk of 2 minutes to be able to tie up this this fourth set, I should say. No, third set.
Third set, but it will be Gav's break.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. This is how quick it can be played when they come out nice for you. Alex O'Donoghue rattles off 2 frames in absolutely no time at all. Connor Evans is rapid at re-racking. In the world quicker, I think, than Donna. She's so fast. It will give both players all the opportunities they need. Gav Robinson just wants to make a ball. If he comes up dry, then Alex O'Donoghue might be in with a chance of pulling off something pretty special.
Big break in this match. Gav's got that white going close to the corner on occasions in this match. Gets the white coming up the centre of the table, makes the ball. The set is almost over.
He's going to use all 15 seconds for the break.
Of course.
Absolutely the right thing to do.
Oh, he's got the white right. Oh.
It's going to come up dry.
Here we go.
Alex O'Donoghue, you got 90 seconds, mate. What have you got for us?
He has to play a plant first shot. He has to. If he, I don't know if he can see it, but he needs. No, he can't. He might be trying to play a two-way shot here. No. He really needed to see that yellow and red to the top left to have much of a chance. That's a good pot. But that top 2 balls is a real problem. If he can get the white to the top, even if he manages to get the white to the top right-hand side of the table, he could play a 3-ball plant.
He's giving it a good go.
He's going into him. Oh, it's not over yet. Oh, I thought he was going to get the cannon on the yellow and the red.
It's a good effort. It's a really good effort. It wasn't an easy light to try and get that out of the way quickly. Gav Robinson will just chalk the cue. His hands on his hips.
He shouldn't take this on.
Ooh.
He has taken it on.
He was close to the shot clock there, he really was.
I didn't think he could pop that without going into the red and yellow that was next to it, which would have opened things up a little bit for Alex. So I didn't think he should take that pot on, but getting the white out to open play, it means he can just pop the open balls and win this set.
Yeah, that'll do it. As you can see, the clock counting down. There's just no time left for Alex to make these balls, and Gav will take this third set. It's been a cracker. A really, really good game this. Thoroughly enjoying it. I'm sure you guys at home are as well. The players will be beaten by the clock in the third set. It ends 4-3 to Gavin Robinson. And ladies and gents, we're seeing an absolutely fantastic game. Who knows where this one is going next? We're about to find out. Welcome back to the Super Series pool here on Free Sports. Stephen and Simon with you all evening long, and we are bracing ourselves for a potentially longer evening, Simon, than we, well, I was going to say than we maybe thought at the first, but you did predict this to be close, and so far it's really living up to it.
I'm absolutely loving this match. It really is absolutely brilliant. Both players are really entertaining us, and so far it's been really tight all the way, and I think this could go to 5 sets.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me, put it that way. It's another in-off break, and we've seen quite a few of these massive breaks today. Look at the movement on the balls, plenty down. The unfortunate thing is that the white is as well, which means it's a really good opening here for Alex O'Donoghue. It's not the best of opening shots, though, for his free shot.
The pot not going in isn't really a problem, but he's caused himself all sorts of problems with the cue ball position. Forced into yellows now. I think his initial thought was definitely reds. These are still there for him.
Yeah, just has to get over I think the original annoyance of messing up his free shot, but it's still there. Just joining us, it's been the topsiest and the turviest game we've had so far, I'd say. It's gone back and forth in every single set, never mind throughout the match.
Even in that last set, we thought Alex had lost it. He missed a couple of balls. Gav got on a little bit of a run, but Alex still came back. I know he lost the set, but he suddenly found another gear and he came back. So there is a lot of twists and turns in every set.
We've seen some really bad pull, but that sometimes makes it entertaining. We have seen some really, really good stuff as well.
There's been some brilliance in and amongst, there really has. Although that wasn't the best shot that Alex has ever played. He needed to be straight on that yellow to the left centre. It's hard to get onto the yellow down by the black. In fact, he's going to play it first, I think. He is. Okay, that's not too bad.
He's come out of that pretty well.
I don't know whether the black goes to the bottom left. If it doesn't, it makes the shot so much harder. You'd have to get the white down to the bottom half of the table.
He's having a look at it. I don't think it does. It's always tough to tell without having a proper look at it. The one man who will know is Alex O'Donoghue. We're about to find out which pocket it goes in. There's your answer.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
What a recovery shot.
He had to really get into that to avoid the middle pocket. Really, really excellent shot from Alex.
And into the middle bag it goes. That is a really good clearance from Alex O'Donoghue. It was made a bit more difficult by himself, but this is a hell of a shot, Simon.
Yeah, had to get into that very quickly. So much harder to get the white to the bottom half of the table. And he'd put himself in that position. He knows that probably should be a fairly simple and routine finish after the foul from the break from Gavin.
This is the man who is currently leading, Gavin Robinson. Rocket Robinson, he is known as. Still just 32. He's won some high pressure stakes games in his time.
2 sets to 1.
20k money matches. a small fee. And for those who not necessarily in the know, so I'm not a pro form in the game, the money match, but certainly a very competitive and potentially very lucrative form of the game.
They're really interesting matches, actually. We see they become quite popular in the pool world. It's really a case of two players. You know, when Gav there says a 20k money match, he means he puts up 10 and his opponent puts up 10. From that 10, it's largely down to, you know, some of it will be Gav's own money, but some of it will be backers. And we've seen some pots get pretty big. We've seen some get upwards towards the 100,000 mark. I don't know exactly what the biggest is, but it's certainly sort of 60, 70, maybe even a little bit more than that. And I guess is there more pressure than playing for not just your money, but your friend's money? I mean, that's tough.
Yeah, would you rather a tricky black to win live on the TV cameras for a spot in the semi-finals of the Super Series, or a tricky black to win for 30k?
Both have a lot of pressure on them, but yeah, there's
choose your poison.
Yeah. I think to play any sport, as I think Gav's just come up short, I think to play any sport at the top level, or any level really, you have to enjoy the pressure. You have to enjoy those moments, and there are players that will wilt in those situations and players that will shine. The ones that shine are the ones we see regularly in the winner's circle.
Well, he'll be grateful he's got a 30-second shot clock to work with. I wonder if he might play his cushion first. Essentially playing the shot as he would have done anyway. It's not come out too badly for him, I don't think, there, because I don't think Alex can play the red into the middle pocket.
So he's having a good look. It's tight. If he can't see that red to the middle pocket, then he doesn't have a good pot to go at, so he'll have to look for a safety shot, which I think he's doing now. He can clip off those reds and get the white to the top of the table. There should be a lot of reds in the way.
Oh.
He was doing both. He took the pot on and got the white to a safe position.
Lovely angle there, got that absolutely spot on.
What he's got now is he now almost has a tougher shot, or a tougher decision to make from here. This time, if he doesn't make this pot, he could be leaving the frame.
Again, he got right into the cue ball to bring it back up towards the top of the table. Again, to sort of make it a bit of a shot to nothing. He's actually achieved that very well. It's a great pot, but again, he's almost putting himself out of position, but meaning to.
Yeah, but this time he has got the shot that will give him the control in the frame. This is a much more controllable shot. Oh, he's overhit it.
He wanted to be able to take the red at the tip of the triangle, as we see on the top picture there, the leftist of the reds into that bottom left corner. He's rolled over by 2 or 3 inches, and those are the margins. He has got a route out though. The crisp potting that we've seen in fits and starts from Alex at times is returning to him. We've seen him play some wonderful shots. We have seen him play a couple of horrible ones as well.
He's going to play this one off the yellow. Needs to open up the pocket. It's well played. Okay, the white's just run away from him, but he got the cannon on the yellow perfectly. So he's one good pot into the centre pocket away from winning this frame. But we have seen all tournament long, these centre pockets are tight.
Yeah, needs this to be bang on. No margin for error.
Oh, he's just overrun the white once again. He's never got into perfect position in this visit. This is very, very thin.
I need to overcut it. It's not a terrible outcome, I don't think. He's covered that pocket. He's given Gav a bit of a problem. Gav's got to be careful here, because even if he lays a snooker, the red hanging over the pocket like that, it's a fairly easy one for Alex to get out of, and also to potentially go on and win the frame.
I guess for Gav's perspective, he's happy that the red's just come to the right-hand side of the pocket, making the off the cushion and potting the red harder. And he's purposely made sure the black is in the way to stop the one cushion. So
Yeah.
fairly well controlled shot from Gavin.
He is capable of safety.
He is capable of a safety. He's proven that. He just doesn't want to very often.
A hit will go close to potting it. It looks like it's the wrong side of the red there, is he? No, it's good. Can he see the black? I'm not sure he can.
Alex would have preferred that to stay up. I don't think he thought he was going to pot it. I thought he was thinking if I come at the angle he was, just catch it, nudge it over the pocket and leave Gav nothing to go at. Now it's gone in, he's in a worse position for it. This could be a hit and hope.
That will all but seed the frame.
It's not touching.
Might have to be another safety shot, actually. I think he can't develop those two yellows that are together. Oh, he's lucky. He got the double kiss on the yellow and it nearly popped out, but he has got the snooker.
But again, a good full ball hit is going to go close. That's the risk you take.
Purposely playing that off two cushions to give it a chance to go into the centre pocket. And again, Gav doesn't have an angle to develop these two yellows. And it's harder to get a good snooker or safety this time. Is he going to come up with a... Well, he's eyeing up this plant. This is very aggressive.
Oh, it's on brand. It's a really good shot.
He's actually been a little bit unlucky, although he's still okay because he's got the yellow to the bottom right corner. It looked trickier from the overhead than it is from the main camera.
It's a really, really good shot, that.
It's understanding that the snooker was harder than the plant. Take on the plant, win the frame. Brilliant stuff.
He has given us some wonderful entertainment so far in this match, Gav Robinson. Both players have. But he's had a couple of highlight reel pots which have really caught the imagination. As we remind ourselves of the man they call Don. Alex O'Donoghue. Twice a World Championship quarter-finalist. Favourite player is Jordan Shepherd. You can watch him in a couple of days' time. He's coming up on Thursday. And I think I'm right in saying he's the first player so far that we've seen explicitly named Jordan Shepherd as their favourite player, but I think he'd be a lot of players' sort of preferred player to watch if they had to see someone on the tour play.
I find it a very interesting question. Asking players that play on the tour who their favourite player is. It's you know, do you really want to pick one of one of the players you're playing against? But I think everyone enjoys watching Jordan Shepherd play Paul, not just here on Free Sports, but all the players on the tour. Anytime Jordan's playing, he is an entertaining player to watch.
Go back at the table here after a familiarly hefty break. Will be yellows here, but he's got to get a bit of a move on.
The yellow on the left-hand side, there's enough room past the red. Problem with this shot he's about to play is the cue ball going into the red, not guaranteed to land on his next yellow. Wondered whether he might leave it to play on the black with it. So black would be the easiest ball to land off it, but he's going to get it out the way early. It's not come out particularly well. Still on this yellow, and we know he's going to take it on.
If he can drift up into the middle of the table and hold it, which he can, but the pot is not there. It really rattled in the jaws. He was close to potting his way out of trouble once again there. Really close. This is the margin. Not a lot in that.
I think it's just another table, another layout, but I think there was a way he could have gone that would have made the clearance easier. May choose to play a small cannon here. Good cannon. He's on the red to the top right. They're all there from now. Just has to work his way around the table.
Second shot clocking off.
He preferred to finish in a position where he can take the one right in the middle of the table and then land on the one on the left-hand side. Not ideal to do that now. So it's going to be a tough pot down the rail, making sure that he can come across with the black in the same pocket. Doesn't want to be straight. He's okay.
Yeah, played that really nicely. As you heard a moment ago, the 15-second clock is now active. But like O'Donoghue won't need a third of that to even think about potting that black away. It's 2-1. Just get the feeling every set is going to go down to the wire this evening, don't you? And there's precious little to split them in any of the stats as well.
Yeah, just looking at total balls potted. Alex is losing the match, but he's potted more balls. I think there's a few times he's got through a visit. He's missed a couple of blacks, and a couple of times where he's got into a visit and not been able to finish it off. Probably more times than Gavin's done. But
13 frames apiece, by the way. It's totally level in that sense.
Yeah, and that's set play for you, isn't it? Maybe 13 frames all, but Gavin's certainly in the driving seat.
Just shows, doesn't it? Gavin's been breaking the bigger. Well, that's a cruncher, to say the least, from Alex. One of the better ones he's hit all night. But Gav's been breaking the bigger. But Alex has probably been having more consistent table time.
Gavin has been breaking bigger, but he's had nothing bigger than the one we've just seen. That was excellent from Alex. Key positional shot. Needs to land nicely on the next yellow, and then it should be simple. And this is perfect. Brilliant shot. So easy to over hit that or under hit that, and then you've got work. The key to this game, especially with a short shot clock, is just keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah, 3 roll-ins to close this one out. Right, so O'Donoghue, although he's a little bit frustrated with how much that white ball's moved across the cushion. Makes it a little bit more difficult than it necessarily needed to be. And that sometimes is all it takes. That sometimes is all it takes. Just an extra inch or so closer to the cushion than he wanted to be. Just made that shot missable.
He was really concerned about the white going into the centre pocket as well. Slightly careless from Alex. That's 2 or 3 times tonight where he's had the frame won, to the point where I'm almost writing it down on my notes, and he's then made a mistake that you just don't expect.
Yeah, Gav's just played safe there. Wants to see if that's a snooker. I think it's going to be very close to one. Don Robin's just gone to have a look.
No, not total snooker.
But he knew the black was...
Big hit and hope, I think, here from Alex. There's not a lot else you can do. You can see half the ball, I think. Yeah. I'll just try and get the white to the top end of the table and make it difficult for Gavin, but clutching at straws, really.
That is from Gav Robinson. Just when you think even on the most simple of clearances, can't really get too much more difficult. A few roll-ins, a couple of stun shots, maybe a little bit of work to do. He had to give himself one difficult one to do. Clean these up nicely to square things up in this crucial full set.
Frame.
Beautifully done. And this is some game, isn't it? It really is some game. It's starting to get a little bit tighter as well. The sets are not looking like they're going to end ahead of time. They're going the full distance now. This one, I'd be very, very surprised if it didn't go the distance. A reminder as well of what these guys are playing for is a spot in the quarterfinals. They'll take on either one of Mason Penny and Jordan Shepherd. Those two square off on Thursday in a couple of days here on Freesports. Same time, same place, 6 o'clock.
Time running.
Don't want to miss it. Oh, that's a beautiful break.
Awkward split though, made a ball, a little bit congested at the top end of the table.
Not long to figure it out. His ability to pot his way out of a problem is as good as I've seen in a long time. He's just so nonchalant about it.
Confidence in his potting is fantastic.
Oh, I tell you what, that's a very clever little shot.
I think he was playing it off the red, if he's honest. I think he was trying to flick that yellow off the red and pot it, but worst way, he's taken the pocket with it. Okay, he hit it off the yellow on this occasion, but it's still the same job done.
Yeah, Alex just played the skill shot there, not effectively. He wanted to take the yellow out of commission, really, in that top left of the table. Went for it again. And he's in danger here, Alex, of running out of opportunities to be able to do this, to the point where he is just going to play safe. And with less than 8 minutes remaining, 2 each in frames. Has he given Gav Robinson an opening? It was a strange shot that from Alex. It did leave that open. Not a bad go at that. If this yellow squeezes past the reds, Robinson could be in business. I don't think it does. Indeed, safety is the option.
He's warming up on these safeties, isn't he? It's 2 or 3.
I had the feeling he might have to play 2 or 3 more as well. But again, the aggressive option was on. For Alex, though, it doesn't pay off. Although he won't necessarily mind that red holding the pocket. As Gav gets his skates on around the table.
And it's a prime example of the players just observing social distancing wherever they can. Gav wanted to go round one way, decided to go round the other because he knew Alex was leaving that way. So it was good to see from the players. Hard to do when there's a 15-second shot clock on as well. I think the referee, Donna, does have a little bit of, I don't know what the word is, but she has a bit of margin to stop the shot clock if she wants to on that situation.
Well, the safety from Gav Robinson, she was sort of forced to play by the time pressure, wasn't an effective one. And Alex here should be able to wrap up this frame.
Take this to the top corner now, because it's easier to land on the black from this one at the bottom. Still has to avoid the yellow.
Yeah, I thought we might see that. Just made sure by dropping it in absolutely dead weight. This for the lead with 5.5 remaining of the set. Alex O'Donoghue leads 3-2 in a set that he has to win. We've got loads on the way for you tonight on Free Sports. La Liga World follows us. And we've got the full game between Marítimo and Benfica from the Liga NOS. No spoilers for you, but that is worth a watch. A massive game in the Portuguese title race.
Frame 6, Alex O'Donoghue to break, leading 3 frames to 2 and trailing 2 frames to 1. Time running.
I'll tell you what, Alex is just starting to get into his break. He's hit a couple of absolute smashes, and that's his best break in the match. Look at this, balls down left, right and centre. Look at the spread he's got. Pick a colour set and go to work.
Alex is probably in a situation here where if he can find a break and dish, he'll feel, with the match or the set clock being so well down at 4 minutes 20, break dish here probably wins him the set.
Doesn't need to rush it. In fact, it actually works in his advantage to do the exact opposite of that. Chew up as much clock as he can. Make sure. Make sure.
Keeps things interesting in this set.
Oh, doesn't it just? Because you know Gav Robinson's taking a pot on from here.
4 yellows at the bottom of the table, they're not a problem. The black's not a problem. It's the 2 yellows at the top of the table. And what's he got lined up for that? Is he going to take on a tricky plan? If he takes on the plan, it's where does the yellow go that he's hitting? If he comes up the table, does he play a double, open things up?
See, he's battling with the shot clock a bit as well.
Except he wants to walk around the table, doesn't he? Well, here's the plan. Where does the yellow he's playing go? Oh, he's missed the pot.
I mean, that was such a tough shot.
Very tough. When they're off angle like that, and from this distance, very difficult.
Yeah, he's almost hit them bang straight, hasn't he? It wasn't on the right angle. And a real let-off here for Alex. And actually, it may end up... There's no way he'd have played for this, obviously, but it'll probably end up helping him because he's going to win the frame, or at least he should win the frame from here. But he's actually allowed Gav to chew up some more time.
Yeah, another 30 seconds gone, isn't it?
With his visit.
Is this white to travel? He's a long way short.
Oh, the drama just continues, doesn't it?
If he was straight on that red to the corner, it was as simple as it could possibly be. He just had enough angle where he had to come round 2 cushions for this red into the corner. Oh, that's a good pot. Oh, he's snookered himself.
I think he's all right.
No, he's playing it quickly. He's fine. Oh, it's a little swerve.
Played it really well. 2 minutes then remaining of the set. Alex O'Donoghue leads 4 frames to 2. That should be that. It would require an absolute miracle from Gav Robinson here. He needs a golden break, and then he needs one of the quickest reverse dishes we've ever seen, I would say. Not out of the question, of course, but very, very unlikely. It looks like we're going to a decider.
Time running.
Can he get the black in motion? No. didn't move at all, did it?
Yeah, that is. It's almost like it was blue tack to the table.
In a weird way, that was almost his most timid break. He was almost rushing the break shot, and he doesn't get much of an explosion of the pack. He doesn't get that much motion through the whole pack at all.
Yeah, and interesting he took on the cut break as well, and I wonder if he played that almost with the idea of getting the black to move maybe, because it's different to any break that he's hit so far in the match.
Yeah, quite possibly. Right, he's still going to try. 57 seconds. You've got to remember that Donna Evans has got to rack the balls up as well. Even if he was able to make this clearance, it just wouldn't be enough time. Because Alex, certainly, you'd have to have 20 seconds on the clock, because it'll be Alex's break and he'd use his full 15, so it will be set over.
Yeah, and he couldn't make the yellow drop. That is going to do it. We will be going to a decider. Oh, this has been so good. I hope you're enjoying this as much as me and Simon are, ladies and gents. We are having a lovely old time. It's a pretty shocking foul from Alex O'Donoghue there, but he won't mind that particularly. Be one for the stats. Good to see Gav Robinson just looking to get the balls down.
Oh, at least he's trying. This is great. Go on, Gav.
It's not really too possible to play them any quicker than that, and Gav Robinson fouls for good measure as well. That will do us in the fourth set, and it means we are going to a decider. Simon, congratulations, you called it absolutely spot on. We go the distance next. Welcome back for the final time tonight here on the Freesports Super Series. Steve Jameson, Simon Webb with you. We are into a decider in this last 16 match between Gav Robinson and Alex O'Donoghue. Simon, this has been a belter. It's been so difficult to call, and one of the main reasons for that is because both players have been a little bit inconsistent. We've seen moments of brilliance, we've seen moments of madness. We're approaching the decider. You thought this one would go close. Where do you see it going now?
Well, I said at the top of the show, I thought this was a 50-50 match, probably the most 50-50 match I've ever commentated on. Here we are, we're 2 sets or 4 sets into this match, and I still have no idea. This is still 50-50. It could come down to the breaks, who knows?
It really is close. The frames won for either side is pretty much neck and neck. The difference, of course, in set play is that it's a bit different. Of course, it still is 2-2, but just in general play, it's been so close. We've seen better breaking from Gav, I'd probably say, but we've seen better play in and amongst the balls from Alex. They've evened each other out quite consistently.
Every time you felt that Alex has got on a roll, that he was going to start suddenly dominating the match or taking control of the match, he's made a bad error and allowed Gav back into it. And almost a very similar story on the other side of the table, although Gav has always played with that sort of air of freedom that kind of you're always on the edge of the seat when you're watching Gav try and clear up. Very entertaining match though.
Pretty inopportune time for Alex O'Donoghue to break dry. Decent spread as well, and Gav Robinson straight in and amongst the balls. Reds is the choice.
Perfect position. The red's got a pocket, black goes. Just the opportunity you want, having lost the previous set, just to settle yourself back down and get going again. That's not ideal. Just nudged the red too far. Now it's blocked by the yellow, and I think it stops the other red from going. Well, I think the other red might go to the bottom right as well as the bottom left. Those are the sort of shots and the little areas I think Gav really needs to tidy up on as he progresses through his pool career. But he has shown, not just tonight, but all through his career, he has the recovery shots to be able to recover from a semi-loose positional shot.
Semi-loose.
from just the loose.
We've seen him play some absolutely abhorrent positional shots and still managed to get his way out of it.
And here we go, another time. You know,
that's brilliant.
Loose positional shot to knock that red safe. 2 shots later, he opens it back up, back in perfect position.
Really, really brilliant. Determined not to forget the black that he made in that first set tonight. It feels like an awfully long time ago now. One of the shots of the tournament after a truly rank positional shot on the final colour and doubling the black out of nowhere. He has got a habit of doing it. He doesn't particularly want to be able to rely on that. He'd much rather this sort of thing. Nice and easy. One zip in the decider. Well, it's just gone to and fro, to and fro. We've seen momentum be really, really important so far in this match, Simon. At this stage, who do you think the momentum lies with?
Well, you'd have to put it with Gavin, because it's not just the fact he's made that reverse dish, but he's made the reverse dish, well, because it was a reverse dish, not a breaking dish, he now gets to break off in the next frame, and he's been breaking well. You know, he's had 4 breaking dishes, but he's given himself a lot of good opportunities of his own break. If he can find one here and get himself a 2-0 lead, then he takes a big advantage in this match, but we have seen some turnarounds already in this match in each set.
Yeah, we sure have. Interestingly, he's gone back to breaking slightly off camber here. He's had so much success tonight, Gav Robinson, by breaking straight down the middle, right off the spot. And he's elected to move it. Only he knows why. I think that red is going to make its way in. It does. So does another. And that's a pretty good split.
He'll be pleased with that. Good opportunity, good break. Just what he wanted after a reverse dish. I think if he wants to go reds, and I think he has to go reds, I don't think he has a yellow on. I think it'll be the red nearest the black's got to go to the top corner, because it's a difficult red to get on. Well, he's going to go yellows. This is a very tough pot. Very, very tough. You can see why he was taking it on. He felt yellows were the easier clearance if that dropped, but reds were still there. I think he wouldn't miss the red to the top right-hand corner.
But that yellow into the middle was so tough.
Yeah, it really was, especially on these black ball tables. They really do play beautifully, but they are tight into the centre pocket.
Just absolutely zero margin for error with that shot. It had to be less than millimetre perfect.
And it's not as though the yellows were absolute gimmies if he dropped it in. He still had the yellow on the cushion on the top right-hand side, which is just as hard to solve as the red on the right-hand side. So I kind of, but every player sees it differently. I looked at the table and my first thought was reds. You know, Gav looked at it and his first thought was yellows, and he's tried to make yellows.
It was interesting that Alex went straight after the yellows when he came to the table as well. I think they must have both had a pretty similar view of it.
I think just because that missed pot opened the yellows up. He had an easy start on the yellows.
He looks a little bit straight on this. And he was, but he's okay. Got an angle to come down the table here to tackle this black and to square things up. Missed black off the spot earlier on in the match, if you remember. Very, very similar shot to this. No such mistakes can be made at this time in the game. And he used the side of the pocket, but it's still there. Won't mind that too much. A pot to pot to pot to pot.
As long as it goes in. As long as it goes in.
Reminder of our first round schedule. We've seen some brilliant games so far in this Super Series. Zach Shepherd and John McAllister, the only game to go to a true decider in a way. They were 2-2 after 4. Gareth Hibbert and Chris Day did go to a 5th, but would have gone to a black ball shootout were Chris Day to have won the final set. Emma Cunningham was dispatched by Aaron Davies, and then David McNamara played a brilliant game against Kyle Brown before we saw the masterclass from Mark Farnsworth before we took our break here in the Super Series pool. It's been good to have it back. What an absolute sledgehammer of a break that is.
it's fair to say his break's got better as the night's gone on.
Say that again.
And these yellows, they look rather nice. Can pop the yellow to the top right, although reds aren't bad. Well, reds are just as good, to be honest. If he's got an opening red, I don't think he has, so it will be yellows.
I mean, you could pretty much pick any of either set there. The cannon hasn't helped him particularly. I think if he was in this scenario right now, he'd probably pick reds, ironically. But
yeah, I just don't think he had that opening red, but I think he's okay. I think the yellow does go still to the top left as long as he can land on it. He just has to find the gap. And he's on it now if he wants it, but he might wait a couple of shots. I think he probably will. He can just run this out. Left centre, right centre. Onto the corner and the black's there. It's a natural pattern.
it's interesting, the pace is just starting to pick up as well. The first two frames have gone pretty quickly. This third won't take long at all. Even if Alex was to make a mistake here, I imagine Gav will whip around in no time to clear the remaining. This one might come down to a race to 5 as opposed to a who can hold it. As the clock ticks down, Alex O'Donoghue 2-1 leads. What a good game this.
It's another 2-frame swing, isn't it? Back to back for Alex. Goes behind, gets back in front. Can Gav respond? He's got the break going tonight. It's whether he wants to. It's almost like he's lost a little bit of confidence in it in the last 2 or 3 breaks. He has had some massive breaks going powerful right down the centre. And he's gone back to the centre. I'm pleased to see this because he's been breaking well from this spot.
Yeah, I have to say from a personal point of view, why change that? That's a stunning break. Look at the movement he's got in the pack. He's actually a little bit unlucky in the sense the black's gone a bit safe, which is a problem. But look at the explosion off the pack here.
There's no question he's hitting the ball better from straight on than he is when he moves the white left or right.
He went for the black straight away. This is tough now because in going reds, and you can see why to take on the opening shot, now the red and the black are both a problem.
Yeah, he hung his head straight away. He knew that was going to cost him the finish. And choosing to continue to be aggressive like he has done all night, went for the double into the centre off the yellow. It's gone wrong, so it's another opportunity for Alex. By moving that red, the black is now open, so there's only one problem for Alex, and you just saw him come around and have a look. 2 yellows to the top left. He's having a look to see whether he could play the plant.
He was just looking at the plant, wasn't he? I think it does plant, but it's tough.
If he lands fairly straight on the plant, I think he's not going to miss it. For me, it's where does the yellow go? Does it go into the red? Yeah. Does it go safe? Well, he's going to take it on from here, so this is a big shot. Oh, it's
come out so kind.
It couldn't have come out better. It really could not have come out better for him.
If Alex had tried to do a premonition of that shot and placed the balls afterwards where he would have liked them to have come out, he wouldn't have changed it. That's how good that was.
I don't think it's he'd worked that out completely. He may have done, but it's more that you play at a pace where you're giving yourself every opportunity of that coming out nicely. Still needs to land nicely on this black.
Looks to finish pretty high on this yellow. Ooh, it looks a little bit straight.
Might be just off straight the wrong way. He may not be able to get perfectly on this black. He might have to come on and off the cushion. Okay, off the cushion, this is tough. This is very tough.
Big shot this. Big shot. To go 2 clear in the decider and 2 from home. great shot from Alex O'Donoghue. Pressure pot, and he sunk it. And he goes one further step closer to that spot in the quarterfinals. 2 from home now then for Alex O'Donoghue. Gav Robinson with his back to the wall. And whenever we've seen that in this match, he's come out firing. And that's what he needs to do here, but it is Alex's break. Alex can hit a good break here. He's very, very close to being there. He has been breaking brilliantly towards the end of this match. Needs another one. Yeah, how about it? How about it? I think it's been the best breaking we've seen from 2 players so far in the Super Series. In general, Simon, that's just phenomenal.
Yeah, both players are breaking really well. Both players are breaking in the same way. And I know Alex is one of those players that will really study what his opponent does. And if his opponent finds a spot on the table that's working, he'll try it. And you can see he's adopted this straight down the middle break and trying to screw the white straight back. Probably not quite with as much power as Gav's playing it, but he's playing it with enough that he's getting a lovely split pretty consistently now. Although that's a loose positional shot. He may just be straight enough that he can drop this red into the right centre and hold the white.
He can hold it to an extent. I think he can sneak through to the red for the bottom left. Well, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I think he's looking at it now. Well, it's going to be the one to the bottom right. So he can't quite have been able to sneak it through. It's a good recovery shot.
Yeah, a little hand up just to say, I apologise, he got a little fortunate with his position. He was trying to come back across the face of that red and have it on to the bottom left. But the cannon's worked out really nicely. But with the black being where it is, again, he needs a good angle on his last red to get onto this black. And he hasn't got it. This is not ideal. Can he? Is this straight enough that he can play this on and off the bottom cushion? Possibly not. Maybe possibly too straight, actually.
What's he got in the locker?
Just the double. Big shot now.
It's a fairly routine looking double, but it will put him 1 from the quarterfinals. He sinks it beautifully. What a time to blast out several frames in a row from Alex O'Donoghue. And he's getting closer. 15-second shot clock is now in effect. Gav Robinson will need it. He now needs to win every available frame. He cannot afford to lose one, or he's out the competition. We could still go to a black ball shootout. If it ties 4-4, we'll go to exactly that. One thing is for absolute certain, Gavin Robinson can afford no more mistakes. He almost got one there with the white going in off. I think he's going to break dry, and this is the chance. This is the chance. For what it's worth, the white might as well have gone in there for Gav Robinson. Same outcome.
Only problem ball really on the table was the black. Possibly red on the left-hand side as well. He needs to work out, develop the black straight away.
Foul.
Oh,
One free shot, one
good to
big.
see from Alex.
Time out, please.
Feathered the
Wow.
yellow, called it on himself. Donna was on hand to see it as well. Do like to see it when players foul and call it on themselves.
Oh, goodness me. What a big moment this could then be. Just got that in time. Gav Robinson. Remember, the shot clock doesn't count for when the ball goes in the pocket. It's when the cue balls hit. So Gav just about okay there. Well, that was a chance for Alex O'Donoghue to win the match, and he may well get another one. He may well get another one after that. But
just a careless mistake.
Oh, Alex O'Donoghue's had a run of the ball there. No, sorry, Gav Robinson rather has had a real run of the ball. It's a great double and come off the jaw to come out perfect on these yellows.
In a match like this, though, you're going to get some and some are going to go against you. Key is to take advantage when you get them. The good thing for Gavin is that this match all the way through has been played at such a speed that he has... Oh, he's running out of time on the clock again. Just about. I was just saying that he's playing this match at such a speed that he's still got 12 minutes on the clock, so he has time to win the frames he needs.
Yeah, in that sense he's not up against the clock, but he has struggled a little bit with the 15 seconds at times.
This isn't ideal though. There isn't much room to land on this yellow to the left centre, and he's too straight to land on it to the right centre, so not much room at all.
That's a heck of a shot.
I'm not sure if he's there. Is he there just with a little swerve? Or is he? No, he was okay. He was okay, although...
Oh, this black's horrible. It's really
black.
not nice. He's gone straight for it as he's wont to do. The double's nowhere near, and is that Gav Robinson's last shot of the tournament? It has to be right. Or is there one final turn, one final twist in this brilliant game? Alex O'Donoghue just has to make sure.
This red goes past the black to the bottom left corner. They are all there for him. You can see him just check out the clock there. You feel he's managed the clock just a fraction better than Gavin in this match.
What a good game this has been. Alex O'Donoghue, when it's mattered in this final set, has taken it by the scruff of its neck and has gone on to the quarterfinals. A brilliant, brilliant game. And a good show of respect from either player as well at the end there. What a match, and we will speak to our winner Alex O'Donoghue after the break. Fantastic watching, ladies and gents. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. Welcome back for the final time this evening to the Super Series pool here on Free Sports. Stephen and Simon here with you, as we have been all night long for one of my favourite games of the Super Series so far, Simon. That had a bit of everything.
Oh, brilliant match. It swung one way, then the other, then back again and back again. Both players played some brilliant pool. There was some mistakes. It all added to the excitement.
Just before we speak to our winner, Simon, what for you was the difference tonight between our two?
I think Alex just controlled himself in that final set a little bit more. Gav just run away with it a little bit. He lost the white a few times. He was maybe just a touch too aggressive all the way through the match. Alex was a little bit steadier, especially in that last set.
And I think we're good to talk to our winner now. Alex O'Donoghue joins us now here on Free Sports. Alex, first of all, a big congratulations. That was shredding some nerves in the commentary box. How are you faring up there?
It was tough, you know. There was a lot of mistakes throughout the match, a lot of good stuff as well, but the rustiness was showing. And luckily, in the last set, I just managed to hold it a bit better than Gav, I think.
You mentioned the mistakes. Well played, Alex. But you mentioned a few of the mistakes you made. Some of them were very uncharacteristic. You missed 2 or 3 pots, especially on the black, that you wouldn't expect. But you must be pleased that you were able to respond, not let that affect you, and find some great pool in and amongst.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like the game was there. I felt like I could play well, but like you said, there was just 2 or 3, I mean, ridiculous mistakes, but that's just down to too much golf with the boys and not enough practice, I think, to be honest with you.
Well, we love the honesty, Alex. How much did you enjoy the format? You spoke to Simon earlier and talked a little bit about uncertainty with the shot clock, with the format, how you'd fare. Now you're out the other side of it. How do you feel?
Well, the set format, like I said before the match, I knew I was going to start rusty, and going 1 set down is not too big of an issue. With the shot clock, it caught me out. I think in the 4th set, I broke off, had tap-ins really, and I've started hearing the beeps. It caught me out a few times, but it's not too bad, to be honest with you.
Alex, you obviously played some great pool in and amongst the mistakes that you made, but how does that feel for now that you've had a match, the rust is gone? Do you look forward to the rest of the tournament with excitement now? Yeah,
that's just exactly what I was saying to my friend who's come up with me. Basically, you know, you just got to get through. First round matches, get through, get used to the table, get a bit more practice this week, and I feel like I'm going to play a lot better in the next round.
Well, you'll be watching one of your potential opponents coming up on Thursday, Jordan Shepherd or Mason Penny. Watching that one with a bit of interest, I'd imagine?
Yeah, it should be fun. Plenty of run-ins with Jordan over the years, so I don't know Mason, but I'll definitely be watching with interest, yeah.
Simon, last one?
Well, I was going to say, normally I'd ask, do you have a preference who you play? Is there a part of you that would love to play Sheppy in this form of the game? He really has owned this the shootout pool.
Absolutely, Sheppy's absolutely ideal for me. I'd rather play someone who's quick, who's going to get on with it. A bit like Gav, to be honest. It suits my style of play.
Well, we've really enjoyed watching you tonight, Alex. Yourself and Gav put on a fantastic show for us. Congratulations, and we'll see you in the next round.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thank you.
Well played, Alex.
Cheers.
And a reminder of just how Alex got there. We'll take a look at the stats for you. It really, really was close. The stats don't really tell us anywhere near the whole story. There was drama in every single set, twists and turns and changes of momentum constantly happening. What we can say is that was the total frames won was even throughout until just the final 6 frames, which just seemed to go all the way through to Alex.
Yeah, what the stats don't tell you is, we 10 missed pots each, but there was some bigger missed pots than others. Sometimes you miss a ball that's tricky or in a frame that doesn't matter as much, but there was some big missed pots, especially from Alex. He missed 2 or 3 bad blacks, but he was able to recover from that situation. And the other thing the stats don't really tell you is that Alex had 4 breaking dishes tonight. 2 of those were in the last set when he really, he found a bit more steadiness and found that extra gear to run away with the last set.
And he got himself a golden break on the board as well, which is always nice to have. He did have a brilliant run in the second set in particular. He rattled off 6 in a row. And as we spoke to Alex there, a reminder of where that sits him in the draw. He will have a very, very keen eye on Thursday's fixture between Mason Penny and Jordan Shepherd. Alex O'Donoghue sitting pretty in the quarterfinals. He can relax now. His job is done. He joins Aaron Davis, Gareth Hibbert, John McAllister, Mark Farnsworth and David McNamara. We'll have Simon Fitzsimmons and Sean Storey tomorrow. But Mason Penny and Jordan Shepherd, we're just going to do very, very quickly, Simon. He wants to play Jordan Shepherd, and I like that because he is the man to beat, and I love the fact that he really wants to have a go at him.
Well, why not? If you're going to match yourself up against the best, then in this form of the game, Sheppy has proven to be the best. So why not take him on and see how you get on? But of course, Sheppy needs to beat Mason to make it through to that final, that quarter-final. So it'll be very interesting to see how he gets on in that match.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. He's not got it easy against Mason Penny, because of course, still has that to come. And we've still got plenty to come on Free Sports as well. Tomorrow is very, very much going to be a big one. But before that, tonight we've got La Liga Worlds, and then following that is the game from earlier. If you don't know the score from this one, do treat yourself as Marítimo take on Benfica in the Liga NOS. A full rerun of the earlier fixture in that Portuguese title race. And a reminder, tomorrow we do have that game between Simon Fitzsimmons and Sean Storey. It should be a belter, that one. Just before we do say good night, Simon, why should our viewers tune in tomorrow between Simon Fitzsimmons and Sean Storey?
Well, we've been mentioning it a lot. The grand final at Christmas time, Simon Fitzsimmons cleared the table twice in 2.5 minutes to turn around a 4-3 deficit against Jordan Shepherd to walk away with the grand final. Absolutely unbelievable stuff from Simon Fitzsimmons, and he is definitely a player to watch in this format. But Sean Storey, he's a phenomenal player, IPA professional. Could be a cracking match.
Yeah, we cannot wait for it. We hope you are in the same boat, ladies and gentlemen. Me and Si have enjoyed your company so much this evening. We'll see you tomorrow as well. Same time, same place. Good night.
Too fast, too fly, too flaunt it, too gas, too high, yeah, we on it. We go wherever the crew going. I'm ready, so tell me who want it.
This program is brought to you by Taom Billiards.